Yeah.
Just enjoy them as influencers, but don't take them as the gospel truth givers in your life. Oh, wow. And I was looking at this particular book. This is How to Embrace Singlehood and Cultivate Purpose as a Christian Woman. I love, 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 love. Yes, I'm not single, but I deal with a lot of singles. And I think it pains me so much for people to be in there waiting, to waste their waiting season. And I've told so many of them when they come to me, I'm like, you know what? Personal growth, purpose, passion, focus, everything else is going to be an added advantage. And I've not yet read this book. I'm going to take time and read it and even share it with single people in my circle. But I believe that it will be helpful. When are you settling down? That's a question, aunties. This sounds like a Christmas question with aunties and mamas. You know, when are you bringing a man? When? As if there's a supermarket somewhere where men are sold and you can go and pick tall, dark, whatever you want. Okay, guys, enough of this. But let's go back to childcare. You can always get this book from
Mahiri Books
Mahiri
online.
Books.
They'll deliver it to your doorstep at no fee.
Oh yeah, and they're very good. They have good customer care as well. So get in touch with them and tell them you want, when are you settling down? Okay, so about the children, I know that this is quite a huge topic that we can't just, bring down to these few minutes that we have. We talked about the symptoms or the signs for a parent to know that my child is overwhelmed. And it's possible that what's overwhelming is not you. Don't point a finger at yourself per se. But I think there's so many things that can overwhelm the surrounding, the people around you, the ones that you call help givers or support system can also irritate your child. In a way. And but how to tell, because when you tell, then you can be able to help if you can know the telltale signs. But the help now, the rubbing of the shoulders, the calming down of the child, even when they're irritable, what other things can we do as parents to just ground these children? Not ground like you're grounded, but to just emotionally ground them. Yes.
And I think one of the first things is you as a parent to stay calm.
Oh yeah, that's a hard one.
Take a deep breath.
That's a hard one.
Just remind yourself, it's okay.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath.
It will
because
be okay.
If you're anxious and you hold a baby, they feed that off you.
Yeah.
They can literally feel your heartbeat like this. They sense it.
Wow.
So I would say the first things first, you as a parent.
I think their sensors are heightened. They're not.
Yeah. So just take a deep breath. I'm not saying be perfectly calm and cool and collected. Just take a deep breath. You can hold your baby. You can speak to your child. It's okay.
Yeah.
They don't really probably know what you're talking about, but we've noticed that when you reflect a child's feelings, imagine going to the hospital and they're giving your child a prick.
Yeah.
They're screaming, just hold, it's okay. Speak to your child. When I know this is scary, I am here for you. So reflecting what you call reflection of feelings. Just label what they're feeling.
I've seen parents at an immunization center, and you clearly see they are detached, so detached from their children. The child is being pricked, but she's like not saying anything. Just, if she had to put down the pants for baby to be able to be pricked, and now they're busy putting on the socks, putting on everything, and they're not saying anything until I had to tell two of them, like, but say something. She's crying. Like, it's a natural thing for a parent to say, you're going to be okay, call out their name, wrap them. But for you, you're all minded about dressing them up and just walking and not saying anything, being quiet. I know you could be annoyed, but this is a baby. And if you say that really, really affects a child, you not being able to speak.
Yeah, because we don't know this, Hilda. And also for a lot of parents, like I said, we are triggered.
Yes, and stressed.
That we are triggered, that's why we detach from being there emotionally for our own children.
Just imagine the 14-year-old that you saw, was the 14-year-old that you saw pregnant? When they give birth, they are children in their own right.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
I know. I don't think they even know anything. They even feel a child is a bother.
Yeah, I knew one who just leave the child and go play.
Oh, no.
She's 13.
Oh, no.
She was a kid.
I know.
So the foster mom cared for the kid, really, is their mom. So you can label your child's feelings, you can stay calm, but also when it gets to sleep, have a what I call sleep hygiene, routine for your child. One
sleep
of them,
hygiene.
you know, I keep saying, what else is going on in your home when your 2-year-old is going to bed? Is TV on in every room?
Shouting, people watching movies.
You know, and I'm like, Bahati, there's too much. Our whole life will change because of a child. I'm like, yeah.
It's worth it.
That's what it means to be a parent. I'm sorry. That's the responsibility. You know, turn things down slowly, dim lights in your child's room. Different parents do different
Don't
things.
tell them, go with your tablet. Go with your tablet.
Or tablets should not be, try and avoid it 1 hour before
then they sleep while they're, they start dozing.
That's a whole different, that will be a whole different show about electronics and your child's brain in the first few years of life.
And they don't want to disconnect and you let them have it because then you're thinking, I don't want to calm you down. Let the gadget calm you down because when you have a gadget, you will keep quiet.
Yeah. So it's a whole different conversation. But like turn down electronics, read for your child. Even at 6 months, they're books. No scary stories. You know, read in a calm voice. Find a routine that works for you. For some parents, they will say, I'll turn off electronics, I'll read a book, I'll bathe my child, I'll try to be consistent. If I'm not there, let someone else put the child to sleep.
Is reading a book the same as, I am taking an easy way out, the same as setting like a small system in their bedroom and putting in Bible stories, like audio Bible stories? Does it make any difference?
I mean, it's both
calm Bible stories and night stories. I think when you read to them, you can animate and show
but
the
also
feelings.
your mom, they know your voice.
Yeah, I know.
There's a connection. But if you can't be there, instead of the tablet,
the audio,
put an audio. Instead of the tablet, I would rather have the audio than having
nothing.
or giving a child a tablet.
Okay.
And like,
but your voice,
your voice is definitely soothes them. So,
they know mommy's around.
So reading,
she's tucking us into bed.
Reading for your child, holding your child. If it's a small baby that you
and don't read while annoyed.
If it's a small child.
There's a child time I was reading for my daughter, and then I was reading about a vampire. I was reading like normal, straight reading, you know, and then a vampire came and what? I was like, but mommy, you shout like a vampire, you know? And then you're thinking, I am exhausted. I don't feel like shouting like a vampire. I'm like, no, we are going to read tomorrow. I was like, no, you read a vampire, I will shout like a vampire. Like you can literally see that they're longing for that connection. And it's exhausting. It
is. It's a lot of work. That's why every time I meet a parent, I'm like, thank you for all that you do for your children and thank you for coming. I'm always telling them, thank you. Thank you for loving your child enough that you've come to seek for help. You know, and for and for someone to walk alongside you, and some parents get teary because nobody has said that to them.
Not even their spouse. Because everyone thinks it's your job. Duh. Take care of your children. But again, not knowing that, I mean, all of us are equipped differently. And some of us have zero tools to even do it. So if we can be there and try the bare minimum, that means, and even come for learning, that is a plus.
Like read a book. I do, you know, do parenting sessions with different caregivers, depending on what the need is and how old the child is. And my favorite is it's called Filio. So basically, I work with parents to learn how to strengthen their relationship with their child. I expect them to play with their child. So they have play dates. So the kids are usually older, like 2 and above. They're having play dates.
I would love to come to some.
You know, they have play dates with their children, and we are noticing, and it's amazing.
When they look into their
it feels like magic. They're like, wait, what? I didn't notice all these things about my child before we talk about their own trauma and all of that. And so there is help. There are good books. Not all books are great, but there are good books out there that you can read to help you learn about your child's behavior, how to support your child. People tell me I don't have time to read. I used to be part of a Facebook parents group, and I'll share different articles or write things about parenting. And they wouldn't read. People like, I don't have time. Just summarize the article for us. And I'm like, but you have 40 minutes to spend on a movie? Use that word I was going to use. On some annoying person on YouTube you don't know.
I know.
And you're spending 40 minutes
you even
watching
have data
them.
to respond and
Exactly, but you don't have 10 minutes to read this very short, non-scientific
that's going to impact
article.
your child for the rest of
But
their
they're like,
lives.
oh, Hattie, summarize the article for us. That's the point when I left I just stopped actually writing because I'm like, it takes me time to sit and kind of write these things. So if you and I also, as I said that, I know a lot of parents will go to YouTube videos a way to calm themselves down.
Yeah. But again, it's not even calming yourself down, it's filling your mind with so many things, unless you have a particular thing. And I think I have some doctors that I follow that are child specialists. And sometimes they will put out videos, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but you will look at something and you'll be like, yeah, this is too Western. I don't think it will apply here. But again, you will filter and you're like, let me try out this because I've been having this issue. Let me try out this. But one thing that it's so helpful that if we get to know that we have these specialists here, that means that having that one-on-one conversation, even if I have to pay 200,000 for a consultation, I will do that in order to be guided so I can be able to flip and do things different and see whether I have different results. I think it's really worth it. But I want us to look at the impact of the 1,000 days on adulthood.
That's a big question. Well, I alluded to that earlier.
Because again, we have adults moving, having fun of their lives, but moving with wounds and stress and trauma and, all these things. They're making relationships hard. Some of them are suicidal. It's a lot that is happening. It's a chaotic world up here.
Yeah, it is.
So that means that chaos comes from somewhere.
Yeah, every time I'm dealing with adults. And
so do you keep reading us and you're like, yeah, that
one?
Oh, no. Or you have labels for us. You're like,
no.
That one.
When adults come and they're really
I fear people with glasses because sometimes I feel they're scanning us.
No, we're not.
That's a joke.
When adults come and they're struggling with, their parenting, their interpersonal relationships, because I work from a lens of attachment a lot with whether kiddos or older people.
Oh, attachments.
I'm going to
it's a backbone for you.
Yeah, I'm going to ask a lot about your early experiences, and it's very interesting. Parents who are neglectful or had caregivers who are not present, who are neglectful. A lot of people who, like, you lose your parent as a child and you bounce from grandma to aunt to uncle to, by the time you're 5, you've lived in 10 homes.
Let me find out. Is there a window in our lives which are sedimented in our memory that can never be erased? Because I don't know if it's for everyone, but I believe there is a window that most people never forget in their childhood. They can forget everything else that happened after that, but they can never forget some years somewhere in their childhood. Is that true for everyone? Oh, I'm just being dramatic.
I'm trying not to make it
you're very articulate, yeah. But you've had people talk about this.
No, the truth is we don't forget.
Yeah.
Whether it's as a baby or you're 5, things that happen to us stay in our bodies.
Okay.
That's why you'll find somebody...
That's scary.
Yeah, I know. You'll find a child was sexually abused at 4. Can't remember exactly what happened. Like, their body remembers.
But they're struggling in marriage.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And as you dig deeper, they're like...
They have these fears they can't explain.
Yeah, so it's the trauma that is stored in
They fear being alone. And I think that's where some phobias are even formulated.
So circling back to what you asked, if I've been raised by a caregiver who wasn't available, who was inconsistent, who was avoidant, you grow up, go to school, get all these degrees, I'm a kind person, I'm loving.
Like everyone says I'm normal.
Yeah. However, I'm trying not to use very big terms. I have anxious attachment. So you're my friend. Hilda is my friend.
Yeah.
I really love Hilda. I want to be with her. By the time Hilda is like, Hattie, I have a friend coming in from out of town. I'm sorry I can't be with you tomorrow.
Oh, she hates me.
No, she's not coming back. I'm a bad person. There's something wrong with me. She doesn't love me anymore. I remember that mom who was inconsistent, who wasn't there.
Very unpredictable.
Very unpredictable.
Today she
and
loves
yet
me,
Hilda has
doesn't.
proved to me that she's always been there.
But one incident is enough to throw me.
Exactly.
And even a love relationship.
Exactly.
When someone says, we can't have that date because I'm committed to work, then you're thinking, I think he doesn't love me.
Yeah, there's somebody else.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that's where insecurity is.
Yeah, a lot of people with insecurities is stuff from way back.
Loss of confidence.
Wow. So it's going to show up in how we trust other people. Are they going to be available?
Even bosses.
You're going to be all of our relationships, not just romantic ones. You're going to be more clingy, or we're going to be avoidant.
Yeah, like
in terms of I am not present emotionally with you, or I don't even know how to show love. Like I really care about you.
I'm covering myself. I don't want to be hurt, so I'm going to avoid any kind of.
Yeah, I want to be distant emotionally.
I'm going to distance myself. Because I've been hurt whenever I put myself out there, so
I was rejected. I cried. Nobody came to me when as a baby.
Yeah.
I cried. Nobody met my needs. I came home. I had a bad day as a 4-year-old from preschool.
So you see that attachment styles clearly can be seen and traced in everything.
Everything.
How we respond to the world.
Yeah, how we respond to the world.
Even taking chances and taking risks. Some of them us just we don't put ourselves out there because then we're thinking, and I think this is where this saying of abantu, as in people do this and people do this. So you generalize and bucket people in some categories because then you are avoiding something or you're anxious about something. And do people heal from attachment styles?
Yes. I don't want to say we heal from attachment styles.
Or we learn
we heal from attachment ruptures. You know, knowing those things that happen, those wounds. Usually, it's a longer therapy, so I have to work with people, help them identify what happened.
That takes time because people here don't like mentioning what happened in their lives. Like sometimes you end up working alone.
Yeah, that, but also working through. By the time you trust me enough to dive into your trauma, it takes months, sometimes weeks, and months. Yeah, so you have to trust me
enough
to be vulnerable, to get into those difficult
conversations
and conversations.
And relive those moments sometimes.
Yeah, so we have to work through that pain, work through, okay, you're really struggling to trust your husband.
Yeah.
Has he done things that have made you think otherwise? Like, no. You know, so what can we do in those moments where you're anxious? How can you communicate your anxiety to your partner as well?
So they can be in a place to help.
Exactly, they can be
instead
supportive.
of writing you off.
Yeah, like if you've been with a mom who would leave, or parents who would leave, and you don't know when your mother is coming back from work. Sometimes they come at 9, sometimes they come at 4, sometimes they come the following day.
Very unpredictable.
You have a sense of abandonment.
Yeah,
you have
that
coming
fear. Back today?
So when you get older and get married, for example, and your husband or your wife, because it can happen the other way around too, inconsistent. If they tell you they're going to come home at 5, and your wife is not home at 5 or your husband,
it triggers a lot.
You're like, are they okay? Are they fine? When they come back, you are mad, and they're like, chick, I just came back at 7.
Yeah.
But if you have understood where your spouse is coming from, is to support them. If you're running late,
or you can communicate. Yes,
I'm like, just send a text that I'm running late. That's all you need to do. I'm fine. There's traffic. This lorry carrying matoke just died on the road.
Yeah.
I'm coming home.
And it takes an understanding. That means people have to be trained to be understanding and supportive partners.
Yeah. That's why I keep saying premarital counseling.
Very important.
Needs not to just begin with communication, sex, and in-laws.
Yeah.
Childhood
dive back into the attachments and then that childhood
relationships,
trauma.
Expectations. What are your fears? Who is this person?
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're getting into a relationship with somebody that has had a lot of childhood difficulties, if I don't care how successful they are right now, their wounds, unless they have worked through them,
they will bleed on you.
That is going to show up.
Yeah. In
your parenting, in your relationships, have conversations about it. And I know it's harder for men.
I know it is, but I think
we have to have.
It's high time we
have
did that
the
for
conversations
ourselves.
Because you're carrying your pain and trauma into a relationship that should have been very beautiful, but because we haven't done the work, it's going to mess up your marriage. It's going to mess up your parenting.
Yeah.
You have that conversation for you
and then
for your
you're
children.
messing up even your children's potential marriage in the future.
So, because it's generational.
Because it's a cycle.
Yeah,
You're
it's a
generational
transmission of those things.
So those are some of the generational curses that must be broken. Yeah, because curses, we think curses are demonic, but again, they could be habitual, they could be, patterns that have existed for a long time. And I think for me, I told myself that this cycle stops with me. Because there's so many things that I saw inconsistencies and things that I didn't deem fit for me and my upbringing. But I say this cycle stops with me about how I bring up my children and even about how I run my marriage. Because people have run their marriages on autopilot. I said, I am going to read the signs. I am going to be educated on this. I'm going to get as much help. You can't say I'm an expert in this. Even when I help others, I know I'm also on a learning journey and to take in as much as I can in order to be a better person. So I believe that is quite, apart from the attachment styles, because I feel like attachment, they cover nearly everything. Because from the anxious you, a lot is nurtured and a lot comes out in the adulthood. How about the other troubles? Could be drinking issues,
like addiction.
Addiction
is really rooted in struggles with emotional regulation. It's what research is showing. Think about somebody who drinks. Why do I drink?
To regulate.
Yeah, I am stressed.
Yeah.
I need to calm myself down. I'll drink, I'll smoke. The sex addiction porn addiction. Not that I want to sleep with a dude.
Yeah, but
it's
you're thinking
it's
going
regulate.
To help. I'm not going to be thinking about my problems.
I'll go shopping to feel better.
Yeah, shopping on impulse.
I'll go buy the next food I don't need to make food addiction, sex addiction, porn addiction, substance use and drinking. All of that is rooted in regulation. I'm not saying that if you're fully regulated, you'll never have addictions. No, it's a risk factor.
It's a risk factor.
So even teaching your little child to learn, because it begins with co-regulation. So before 3, you're really co-regulating with your child, and they move towards self-regulation about age 5, 6. We are hoping kids know how to feel their bodies and know how to deal with things. By 7, 8, they can use their words, they can negotiate, they can think,
say no,
because they are growing.
Yes.
But if we don't deal with that when our kids are young, I have parents calling me like, my 7-year-old cries at everything. And I'm like, okay, get it. But at 7, in my head, I'm expecting children to have learned how to, but also how to kind of problem solve. We're fighting with the toy with the 2-year-old. I know how to kind of negotiate that conversation than crying over everything. So really helping your child, being present, forming that relationship, caring about their emotional well-being, has a ripple effect. When we do that, having better regulated adults who are better partners, better workers in the workplace, better contributing members of society, and it's a protective factor on many, many, many mental health things, including addiction.
And that's true. And I think in the African culture, there's a tendency of teaching or co-regulating with the girls, and not the boys.
Even abroad, it's not just here. I've had little white boys being told not to cry, so it's not just here.
I know, because girls, as in, we take time, we hear them out, we reason with them, we exchange, but there's a way we feel like, I don't know, they're going to help themselves, they're okay.
Like the boys?
Yes, the boys.
I think because we think we're nurturing girls to be nurturers. And we are socializing boys to be providers. And yet
so the providers must be strong and macho.
Strong, macho, don't feel your feelings.
So I'm not telling them to feel their feelings.
And it's the same guys we're expecting to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and to be better husbands and spouses and bosses.
Yeah. So and that translates in so many other areas of marriage.
Does that explain why more addictions are going towards the side of the males than even the women?
Because we've not taught them. We have not taught men to talk about their feelings. I've not told men to say, by the way, I'm so overwhelmed by my new job. It doesn't mean you're dumb.
To think about it.
It just means it's okay for you to be overwhelmed as a guy. It's okay for you to say, my goodness, I am a new dad and I'm freaked out. We don't give
and
men
it's okay
that
to
space.
say that, yeah.
But because they can't say that, those who drink,
Yeah.
I'll just go to the bar.
Yeah, or I'll look for another woman.
Or I'll,
To soothe
even now
me.
old men are doing video games.
Yeah.
I'll go do video games.
Oh, yeah. That's getting out of hand.
So
Video games.
because we are not allowing men to feel their feelings.
Yeah.
We are doing them a disservice. Then we expect them to shop for us. They can't.
So they grow up emotionless.
Yeah. They're very detached from their emotions.
And then after that, we demand for them to have emotions in order to be supportive.
Yeah.
And yet they have grown up like robots.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you begin with little boys. Allow your boys to feel their feelings. I'm not saying raise kids so wimpy, bad. It's okay for a child to cry. It's okay if you see your teenager.
Yeah.
You know, who's coming up with all their headphones and looking nuts. It's an emotional issue they're dealing with.
Yeah.
They've had a bad day.
They didn't fit in.
Yeah, just check like, hey, dude, what's up? You know, go sit in with your child.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to talk about it, Mom. Like, okay, I'll be here when you're ready, and leave. Just I'm here. If you want to talk about it, I'll be available.
And when they talk about it, don't be the typical Ugandan mother. I told you, never do this. And never. No.
Yeah.
Can you calm down and listen? How were they hurt? How did they feel?
Yeah.
You might don't even say, oh, that's small.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Men don't cry. You know, don't be weak.
Yeah. So it begins with parenting.
You're the firstborn. I think firstborn.
You're the man of
we
the
have issues.
They are telling 4-year-old that take care of your mom.
Yeah.
So when dads are leaving. So it begins really with parenting your little child now has a ripple effect when they grow up. You all want successful adults.
Yeah.
We all want kids who can make good decisions. Yeah. It begins early. If we neglect these early years of their development, of their emotional well-being, it's going to show up. I keep saying I have enough evidence, not even like just research, kids I have watched over the years.
And you know, the most painful thing as we close, I've seen so many parents in the Western world suffer because they are completely detached by the child. By the time the child is out of college, they are completely detached from their parents. And even when the parents get old, they're so quick to be sent into adult homes. And then,
homes.
yes, or retirement homes. And I have seen some of them that are even my friends wanting to reconnect with their children, and the children have refused. And they don't know how their father is faring. They don't know what's going on with them. And I think this comes from, I think we are reaping, I told some of them, I think we are reaping the kind of seeds that we sowed when we were young. Because when you plug yourself out from the parenting job, and this child feels, I have parented myself, or I've had guardians all my life, and I don't think I need you. Why are you showing up right now? Why are you telling me I'm your child and you need me? But when I needed you as a child, you were actually not there. And I think jobs have pulled us away from our children, and we have committed more to pursuing the money. And because the economy is bad, and both parents are working, and the children are in the hands of the nannies. And even when the parents come, they are plugged out because they are exhausted. And I think there is a lot that is really worrying me about parents in this generation, and me being one of them. I think I am trying as hard as I can. It's a fight. It's a fight. It's not a small thing. But I believe with these kinds of conversations, something can be reset in the system. Some parents can learn to check in and plug in, or even get help for themselves. So that they can come back and pour into their children and be present in their homes. Let's, where are you found? Where can they get you from? I mean, people need to know where to run to.
Currently, I'm seeing clients from Safe Haven Child and Counseling Center.
Where is that
in
located?
Tinda, behind in Tinda Complex.
Okay, so they can walk in anytime.
They need to make an appointment.
Okay, so so they come make an appointment, and then so guys, this generation, more than anything, I think we need all the help that we can get. There is no way you can say, I'm an expert in everything. You could be a very good businessman, but very bad at parenting. And there is no way you will treat it without acknowledging it. So from these conversations, this is to help you reflect and evaluate, and then not just evaluate and say, no, I'm going to do better, and just be lazy at it. This is a call for you to take action, to reach out, and look for the resources and people that can be able to help you. And Dr. Harriet is here for you. So make sure that you actually go to her and find out as much as you can. Be the greatest pastor, dripping of the anointing and soaked in the Holy Ghost, but you will be the worst parent at the same time. So you see how the devil sneaks in the back door while you're busy praying for people shandering and they are being slain in the Holy Ghost. Your child is being slain by what? By attachments, anxiety attachment style. And that one, my friend, you cannot command out of that child. You cannot pray for it or uproot it. The devil will say back to sender. We love you. Thank you so much, Doctor, for the time that you've given to us. And go get yourself a book from Mahiri.
Mahiri Books.
Yes,
an
Mahiri
online
Books.
bookstore.
Yes, make sure that you order yourself a copy. Go to Ntinda, make sure that you meet her, have a conversation. Let me tell you, sometimes you don't go to counselors or therapists with a problem. Sometimes we need to walk in without a problem. So we can just have an intellectual conversation, and that is where you'll discover, oh, I need to work on a few things, and can we set up these appointments so I can be able to start? Take it as a course. Take it as, something that is adding something to you and your family. I believe in happy families. I believe in happy marriages, but more so I believe in happy children. From us to you is a good night. This conversation sounded like music to my ears. As a parent, I believe I've gone away with so many things. It has been like therapy to me. I hope that it was like therapy to you. If you've not yet given birth, at least you know what went wrong, because maybe you are seeing the fruits of what was done or what happened in your childhood, and maybe you have anxiety attachment styles, and maybe you're not flourishing or thriving in your relationships. A lot is happening even with your bosses or with any kind of friendships. So you know where it's coming from right now. And then for the parents, you know that that child is throwing the tantrums, and that tantrums are part of the normal development trajectory of a child, and that you have to be able to calm them down. You don't have to teach them instant gratification and give them everything. I believe there are so many takeaway points from this conversation, and I believe that you've been able to see where the loopholes are and what you can do, and more so where to run to get the help that you need in case you really need the help. So parents, let's take it upon ourselves. Let's reflect, let's evaluate, and let's execute, and let's find help as much as we can. And not just the female parents, but even the male parents. More in this generation, the male parents need to engage and be involved and get their hands dirty in the parenting, so that you can also be able to reap the results. I said it. If you need me, come for me I'm at my home. I love you guys. Bye.